For the girlies that know anime, picture this. You're in your rank E hunter era. You're grinding, struggling, just trying to survive, right? And then one day you unlock the system. But instead of using it to overcome monsters, it's your hormones. Cycle syncing is the real life system. And once you learn the rules, you stop surviving and start solo leveling. Hello, my girlies. If you're new here, welcome. If you're fam, then welcome back. I'm MerrilyMaralee. I'm a certified menstrual coach. And when it comes to your cycle, I'm here to help you get it together. Now, if you're not an anime girly or you just haven't seen Solo Leveling yet, it is a top tier show. Basically, it's about this guy who was pretty much like a no one, very weak, small, feeble, and on the brink of death. Basically, he does die actually, but on the brink of death, he is able to access what we call the system. And it is this power essentially that allows him to continuously level up and get better. And that's really important because in this world, everyone else's like stats are fixed. Like you're as strong as you're ever going to be, you're as fast as you're ever going to be. Like everyone has like a certain amount of ability. And that's that. And so when he is able to unlock the system and continuously get better, I thought that would be a fantastic analogy on what it's like when you actually start understanding cycle syncing. It's like the perfect example of what it feels like to fully be in alignment with yourself. And if you move like each phase of your cycle is a new opportunity, you would be astounded by the amount that you would level up within like 3 months. 3 months is like 12 phases. That's 12 opportunities. If you're looking at every single phase as a new opportunity for you to progress, for you to grow, for you to learn something about yourself, you will be solo leveling quite literally. But what exactly does it mean to level up in your cycle? Like, what are the things that you would be working towards? Balanced hormones, a regulated nervous system, inner peace. These are all things that you could be working towards with every single phase of your cycle. Now, I know you're like, okay, girl, that sounds amazing. Where do we start? This is where the Merrily method comes in. I know that cycle syncing can seem pretty daunting at first. It's a lot of information and it seems pretty like sporadic at times. And you're just like, okay, well, where do I start? How do I begin? And you kind of get this sense of like information overload. And I know that some people, some of you have tried cycle syncing before and then just kind of like dropped it and just left it to the wayside because you got like overwhelm paralysis because there was just so much going on. I get it. I get it. I was the same way. I also got like decision fatigue and overwhelm paralysis with a lot of the decisions that I was trying to make when I was first, cycle syncing. And so that's why I kind of created the Merrily method. I created it to make cycle syncing simple, easy, and sustainable. It's super easy to remember. It's real cute. The Merrily method, the acronym is M.E.R.R, M.E.R.R. It stands for move, eat, rest, and reflect. Just those four things. Each of these pillars has a direct impact on the quality of your hormones, your metabolism, inflammation, all of it. It's not about controlling your body, it's about partnering with her. And I want you to use the Merrily method as your own personal system as a way to unlock new stats like energy, focus, connection. When you learn to play the game right, every phase becomes a power up and not a punishment. That's what we're aiming for. That's what we're going for. So let me tell you why this works. Still in the lingo of like solo leveling or like a game type RPG, your hormones follow rhythms like an end game timer. And if you start to ignore them, that drains your health bar. But when you sync with those rhythms, imagine that your XP is going up, your experience points are going up, your skills are going up, your cortisol is lowering, your energy steadies, and you kind of stop burning out. And focusing on these specific pillars, move, eat, rest, reflect, these four pillars will help switch you from operating on hard mode to operating on aligned mode. And let me tell you why. How you move affects your cycle regularity, your mood, your mindset, and then also your blood flow and energy balance. How you eat affects hormone creation and the metabolization of those hormones, your energy levels and your focus, and also your immune system strength. How you rest affects your stress hormone balance, tissue repair and recovery, and your emotional resilience and mood stability. And then finally, how you reflect affects your self awareness, personal growth, emotional regulation, and decision making. And then also how connected you feel to yourself, to others, and to God. I believe that intentionally focusing on these pillars helps you become a better steward for what God has given you. And you're like, well, what did God give me? Your body, babe, you. Your body is a resource that God has blessed you with. Focusing intentionally on how you move, how you eat, how you rest, how you reflect, this helps you to better take care of your body. This helps you to better steward your body, to make better decisions and choices with your body, to then have better actions, results, and outcomes with your body. And the best part is that you can start today. So, in order to start using the Merrily method, first and foremost, you have to be tracking your cycle. You cannot cycle sync if you do not know what phase of your cycle you're in. So, before you even want to jump into optimizing the different phases of your cycle, baby girl, I need you to know what the phases are and where you are in them. That's what I need you to first and foremost focus on. Honestly, the Merrily method is for people who are tracking and they know where they are, and then they can begin to optimize from there. But if you're not tracking yet, I encourage you to go check out my previous podcast episode about tracking. I believe it's called How to Stop Guessing Your Cycle, Track It Like a Pro. I believe that's what it's called. Go check that out first. If you're not sure how to start tracking, disclaimer as well, if you are on birth control, if you are on any kind of hormonal birth control, this may not be for you also because you don't have a period. I'm sorry if this is the first time you're hearing this, but if you're on the pill, you do not have a period. And you're like, oh, but I bleed. No, that's not your period. That's a withdrawal bleed. That is not an actual period. We can talk more in depth about what that bleed actually is. It's just a withdrawal from the synthetic hormones, and it's scientifically placed in the pill for you to assimilate what a regular bleed would look like because it was uncomfortable for women when they first invented the pill. They were like, oh, I'm not bleeding, so this doesn't feel natural. So they added that placebo week to mimic the bleed. But because you're not experiencing the actual hormonal fluctuations when you're on the pill, cycle syncing may not have the same effect for you. And I say this with so much love and grace, but just understanding that cycle syncing is primarily a tool for people who are naturally cycling, or even for women that are going through perimenopause or menopause who don't have cycles anymore. They can actually still cycle sync and track using the moon because their body will still kind of be feeling those ebbs and flows even though they'll no longer have that hormonal rhythmic shift going on. A lot of women still find relief with their symptoms through menopause and stuff through cycle syncing with the moon instead. But if you're on birth control, it may be difficult for you to experience the same benefits and have similar experiences to what other women will be experiencing because you actually do not have a period during that time that you're on birth control. You don't actually have a hormonal cycle. The way that birth control works is that it disrupts the communication between your brain and your ovaries to tell them to start producing the necessary hormones to grow the follicles and to prep for ovulation. It disrupts all of that communication, so ovulation doesn't happen. So none of the other hormonal productions of those hormones, that none of them happen. It completely turns that off, and it just tells your body to operate on the synthetic hormones that you're getting from the pill. So it won't have the same effect. So I just want to be really clear about that. But for my girlies that are cycling naturally and you have an idea of where you are and you're trying to figure out how to start actually cycle syncing and optimizing your life to live intentionally with your hormones, where I want you to start today is that I want you to just pick one pillar of the Merrily method, just one. and try to focus on that for the month. And I want you to look at that pillar in each phase of your cycle, because the way that you eat can look different in your follicular versus the way that you eat during your luteal. The way that you rest can be different in ovulation versus the way that you rest in your menstrual. And I want you to pay attention to what your body is craving during those times and what phase you're in. You may feel like running a marathon, or you may feel like taking a brisk walk. Take note of what you're feeling and when and during what time of the month, and then keep tracking so that way you can discover which feelings are consistent and then which ones are just kind of like one hit wonders. You'll find that the things that your body is consistently asking for in the same periods of time are things that your body is probably lacking or is in need of. And then once you have that data on what your body typically wants to do or typically wants to eat, then you can start looking at ways to optimize. And you can optimize according to whatever your goals are. So, for example, let's say that my goal is to eat healthier. When I'm in my luteal phase, I crave waffles. Oh my gosh, like a big fat buttery waffle with some syrup running down it. Like I just want sugar and carbs, my guy. I want sugar and carbs. Okay. When I'm in my luteal phase, that's what I want. I'm like, everyone get away from me. Sugar and carbs, please. Get me a waffle. True story. You can talk to my husband about this. I have literally cried to this man. I'm like, babe, I need a waffle. Like I have almost burned down the world because I needed a waffle, right? And every now and then I will allow myself the waffle. I am not a woman of deprivation. If I really need it, we get in the waffle. But if my goals, like I said, are to eat healthier, a way that I can optimize for that is to replace the unhealthy version of that and then have a healthier, more hormonal friendly alternative, which will hit the kind of same spot that I needed to do for like a sugary carb would be like a sweet potato. And I think I talked about sweet potatoes in my previous video where I was like in my luteal phase, like I just need sweet potatoes. That's why I need sweet potatoes, guys, because if I don't eat the sweet potato, I will crash out on the waffle. Like I want a whole Bruxy waffle, okay? If I don't get the sweet potato, I'm crashing out. I'm getting the waffle. So the sweet potato is a much better alternative than, downing a waffle every day in my luteal phase. You know what I'm saying? Another example, if your goal is to work out consistently, but you tend to just want to stay in the house when you're on your period, then maybe optimizing through that looks like just walking for that exercise time or stretching while you watch TV. But as long as you keep moving, then your goal is being met. You see what I'm saying? It's like you don't have to just do absolutely nothing. If you want to be working out consistently, then you can optimize to have more low impact workouts. But just take one pillar. Just take one pillar and look at that pillar through every single phase that you're going through the month. Take that pillar, look at it. What do I typically do? What do I want to do? And I want you to look at those two things. What do I typically do for this pillar in this phase? What do I want to do for this pillar in this phase? And then that will help you bridge that gap. And then once you get into the practice of working with one pillar, you can start adding in another, or you can add two in at a time. Or if you're feeling adventurous and you think you can handle all of the changes that are happening all at once, feel free to try to optimize through all of them. But I have found that in my experience, like I do get overwhelmed when I try to change too many things all at once, and then I end up just letting everything fall to the wayside. So be mindful of that. But once you really start to get in the practice of that, start incorporating others. Eventually, you'll be looking at all of your pillars each month, and essentially you'll be like, okay, where do I want to allocate XP points to? Do I want to really focus on my movement this month? Do I really want to focus on like eating this month? Imagine it like that, still in the world of like solo leveling. Like, where are you going to allocate these experience points to? Like, what are you trying to level up with specifically this month? Again, think of each phase as a new opportunity for you. And then from there, you just kind of stack your wins over time. Don't try to, go from level 1 to level 99 overnight. It didn't work like that. Sung Jin Woo did not go from rank E to S in like 2 days. Although, like, if you binge the series in 2 days, it might feel like that because, it's good. But it didn't happen like that, like it takes time. So stack your wins over time. This is your training arc. And if you are starting to get to the point where you're getting like tired or anything like that, just focus on logging in. You do not have to master the system today. You just need to log in. I hope you guys enjoyed this mini episode, teeny tiny. We'll talk more in depth about the Merrily Method through pretty much any other episode that we go into. That's why I had to get this mini episode out, because I was outlining some other episodes and I was mentioning it and I was like, I have not explained to the girlies what it is. So I was like, let me stop, let me slow down, let me kind of just break the ice, and then we'll really dig deep in the next couple episodes and just, throughout the life of the podcast. So thank you so much for being here today. Thanks for spending time with me. I love you. Be blessed. Adios.